So I'm back again. We ended on slide number 11 with the first half of this chapter 13 slide deck. I'm going to move on to the other half of chapter 13. We talked about slide 11, monitoring and controlling, in the last video deck. So let's move on to slide number 12. So we initiated it, we planned it, we executed it, we monitored and controlled it, and we're now to the end of the road, and the project is complete, but it's not complete until we close it. Got to finish all the work, got to close the contracts, you got to pay any past due bills, turn the projects over to the owners, reassign equipment, personnel, whatever it happens to be. Now, you'll see on the slide when you review this is probably one of my worst traits. Now, historically for me, from doing this for almost 30 years, what has happened to me traditionally is they never give me a chance to finish the project I'm working on and close it before they move me to a next project. It's always like, Scotty, we'll come back later and we'll close that. We need you to get going on this new wonderful whiz-bang thing that we're going to do. So that's why it's probably one of the things that I'm the weakest at and I do the poorest, because they never give me a chance to actually do that work. Moving on to slide number 13, just a little bit about Project Management Professional, a PMP. I think you're aware, we talked about it during the semester. I am a certified project management professional. I'm not a purist. I think there are some good attributes to this that also, just like a good medical doctor, just because they have the MD certificate, it doesn't mean they're a good doctor or a bad doctor. Sometimes you need to investigate. Same thing with project managers. If you are going to get your PMP certification, you are going to be taking a test through the Project Management Institute, again, the largest global body, and they have a project management body of knowledge. They call it PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge. The PMBOK is like the Bible for project management. It talks about all the different things on the scope, on this slide. And if you were going to take that exam, you're going to spend a lot of time with the PMBOK, the Project Management Body of Knowledge, learning that book and repeating that in that exam. If anybody wants any more information about the PMP exam, the quest for it, that type of thing, reach out to me via email. Thank you. Going on to slide number 14. There are several types of scheduling methods, Gantt charts, network messages. We're going to talk about this more in the next couple of slides. So I'm not going to spend too much time on slide 14. As I shift now to slide 15, this is a Gantt chart example. It's at figure 14.2 from your text. So this is an example where I'm setting up a new project site, a new project office. And so in step number one, I'm going to lease the site, and that's going to take a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of time. I'm going to hire the workers. You're going to see that large duration on line number 2. I'm going to arrange for furnishings. I'm going to install the furnishings. I'm going to arrange for phones. I'm going to install the phones. And then finally, in step number 7, line number 7, I'm going to move into the office late stage in the 6th week to the 8th week, and now I'm into my office. This is a Gantt chart type of schedule. It's a very good visual understanding of how the schedule looks, what we're going to need to do to achieve success in this project. Moving on then to slide number 16 is a network diagram. Network diagram, it's doing the same thing as a Gantt chart, but instead of being a waterfall type thing, as we saw in the Gantt chart, the slide before, this is more of a node type diagram. A is the first activity, and underneath A you can see a number 1. That is the duration to do that task. A is an apple. Just for the discussion here, let's say that's days, that it's going to take 1 day for us to do task A. Once I finish task A, then I move on to task B and task C, which are being done concurrently in parallel at the same time. Task B takes 2 days to do. Task C takes 3 days to do. So the fact that they don't have the same duration doesn't matter in the network diagram. As soon as A is done, B starts and C starts. Now, after B and C are done, we move on to D as in dog, and D is going to take 5 days of duration to complete that task. However, I can't start D until B and C are done. I can't start it without both of those being done. So if I start on A, I'm going to shift now to slide number 17. And on 17, we have the same network diagram, but you're going to see down on the bottom left-hand side, you're going to see ES, EF, early start, early finish. And in the network diagram, the reason I leave the slide in here, by the way, is because if you are going to take the PMBOK exam, you are going to get test questions here on network diagrams about early starts and early finishes, the whole 9 yards. If you're not going to take the PMBOK exam, all of the math, all of the logic that we're going to talk about here in a minute is all automatically controlled through a project like Microsoft Project, Smartsheets, Monday.com. There's many different projects, type management softwares out there that do all of this math for you, but I want you to understand the logic behind it. So early start means if I start on day 0 and I have a 1-day duration on A as an apple, I will be done at the end of day number 1. Because I'm done at the end of day number 1, I can start B on day 1, I can start C on day 1, and B will be done on day number 3 because it's a 2-day duration. Day 2, day 3, we're done. However, C is a 3-day duration, so if I start on 1, I've got day 2, day 3, day 4, I won't be done until day number 4 with C as in cat. Now again, as I move off to the right of that slide, I get to D as in dog. I can't start D as in dog until B and C are done. So the earliest I could start that would be on day number 4 after I finished B and C. Even though B was done on day number 3, I can't start because I needed C at the same time. So that's that early start, early finish. So let's move on to slide number 18. Early start, early finish, down on the bottom left-hand side, we just talked about in the last slide. Below that is late start, late finish. So because there is a little bit of what we call slack time in B, because B is only a 2-day duration where C is a 3-day duration, I can actually late start B a day later than C and still be done on time. So as we talk in slide number 19 about critical path in a Gantt chart, in a network diagram, in a project, it doesn't matter where it is, critical path is the longest path in the network. Where we have no slack, we have to make sure that we start on time and end on time on all of these tasks on the critical path because there's no slack. If I start late or I finish late, my whole entire project is going to slide out and end later because it's on critical path. And our particular, going back to slide 18, as you take a look at slide 18, the critical path on slide 18 is from A as in apple to C as in cat to D as in dog. The ACD path is the critical path because again, if I do anything late, I'm going to delay the finish on D. B has slack in it because if I start B a day late, or if it takes me an extra day to finish, assuming I started on time, because it only had a 2-day duration, even if I went 3 days but I had started on time, I still will finish at the same time as C as in cat. I can't start D until both B and C are done, so that's why that's on critical path. And slide number 20 we just got done talking about is slack in A as in apple to B as in boy to D as dog. In this particular network example is where the slack is. That's the end of chapter 13. Chapter 14 is loaded up. I've got feedback from students that it works okay. I will load up this video. Hopefully it'll be successful as I load it overnight, and we can keep chugging along with the rest of the semester. Take care, be safe, reach out if you have any questions or suggestions on how I could make these videos better as we close out the rest of the semester. Take care. Miss not seeing you folks face to face. Bye now.